3 out of 4 on the BDST, almost done. Good afternoon, YouTube. Here with you at around 3 something in the afternoon. 3:38. I'm sorry, couldn't hardly see the clock. Coming right along here with the BDST. I can't ever say that. BDST beta units, beta test units. I have one more to complete on the side, and then I have to put the holes in the top or front, whatever you prefer. And these will be ready to go. Now the ones in the front and the on the front here are pretty easy. I don't think I'll have a big problem with that. I basically drill my big hole, and then put the speaker up there and make sure it's centered, and then mark my 3 holes. It's easy to do. And also, in case anybody hasn't heard yet, I do have now internet, Xfinity, and it was a little bit of a hassle. You guys know the story about the other stuff, and so technician did show up today, and he was even early, and they even asked if he could come early, and I said yeah, it's fine. So it was a little afternoon, and he showed up, and he set upon his task. I showed him the modem first, and he checked the connection. Yeah, he said there's no connection to the pole. And he went back in the back, and he come back to the door with a puzzled look on his face, and I thought, oh, here we go. And he was telling me what he found back there was an orange cable, and he said he thought that was it, but he said he went to the pole and checked, or yeah, the pole and checked. He said, in other words, he had good feed into the. He left a dongle on the one of the jacks here in the house, and some way he checks the connection there, and he said he had a good reading there. He said so that was the cable that went into the house, and he said the only problem is he doesn't get a reading on the pole. So whether the cable was bad or whatever, that was the story. And he was fretting about the having to lay a cable on the ground because they get cut easily, which I'm aware of that because it has happened before. And so I said, well, I really don't know. I told him as much as I knew about stuff outside, and you know, it wasn't much, because I told him, I said the last time we had Xfinity here was about 10 years ago. So I said a lot probably has happened since then. He said, you've had other cable or companies? I said, yeah. I said, we had MetroNet and Frontier. And so, you know, he said probably they've got it unhooked or something. So I said, well, whatever. So he goes back out again and comes back in again. He says, I really don't know. I really don't want to put that on the top of the ground. He says, if, you know, I'm sure it's going to get cut. And he says, and I'll be responsible for it and this and that and everything else. And I said, well, I don't know. I said, that's just all I can tell you. I said, I'd really like to get my internet today. I said, because, you know, I've been using this phone internet, and I said, it sucks. So he said, well, let me see what I can do. So he goes out there, and next thing I know, he's getting a hard hat and a ladder down. So I figured he was getting serious about it then. So he finally came back in. He says, well, he says, I got the okay from my supervisor to go ahead and put a new line in. He says, it's laying on the ground now. He says, but he says, I've already put the order in to have it buried, and it should be 2 or 3 weeks before that's done. I said, well, I said, you know, I'll tell the mowing guys. I said, they had just come yesterday and mowed, and they hadn't been here probably in a month. So it's a good chance they won't be back for a good while. So anywho, the long and short of it was he wanted me to test the connection. Sure enough, it worked. So I am very happy to have a decent internet again. And now I'm thinking about setting up my printer. I was talking to Bob about setting the printer up in the living room and then moving it back here if it would retain its settings or not. I could not find a good answer to that online, and I sure don't want to call somebody in India and ask that. So anyway, that's the whole thing there. He says, now I probably won't bother you guys anymore about this here until I'm ready to ship them, or have shipped them, or something like that. But I did. This has gone. This is the first one I did. This is a little bit larger than it should. I wasn't paying attention when I was using the step bit, and it went one past what it was supposed to. It works fine, but it was just like I said. It's just a little bit bigger hole than it needed to be. You guys, one of you beta test guys, you know, you can fight over this if you want. But you know, it's like I say, it's not a big deal. Like I say, it's not going to affect anything on the performance of it or anything like that. It's just this was the first one I did, so you have to kind of expect that with the prototype or whatever. And the second two I did, you know, the second and third one, they came out perfect. You know, I use this for my where I screwed up at, as far as making the holes too big or too low or too whatever, and I readjusted my settings, and I have them pretty much down pat now, because I used the settings that I wrote down for these two holes, and they work perfectly. You could not ask for any better fit on those. So anywho, that's that. Like I said, that's going to be doing me on that one. I have this is my test board that I use. Now you may notice that I had to shave this down a little bit. This is the problem. This is one of the problems we're going to address with the next set of boards. This is going to be moved back, I think, 1.25 meters, and moved over that way 1.25 meters, and that will put that in a good spot. The reason being is there are two ridges coming right along here. And what I've had to do on this is shave the ridges down using the Dremel tool. And once I did that and shaved a little bit off of the jack itself, everything fits perfectly now. So, like I said, you guys will find out that they do fit perfect. And we also noticed there's some inconsistencies with the switches. They don't line up perfectly every time. Each one we tried. Now I've been using the same one over and over because you know, but you know, I put an extra little blurb in the instructions about this, and you may have to adjust either the lugs in a little bit or out a little bit, or you can just, you know, use your jumper when you put the jumper in. Just bend it a little bit, whatever it needs to be done. As long as there's a good connection between the lug and the board, that's all you really need. So it's not a big deal, and like I say, the rest of it, you know, it ought to be pretty good. I didn't fill in any of the components on this one yet. You know, I'm thinking about, I may just do that for this one, the one I build here, and use that for this one and build. I've got enough to do another one, so I may just do that, and that way nobody has to get the bad one. So we'll see. You know, unless somebody wants you guys let me know in the comments if you really want that one. Let me know. All right, like I said, I did get 5 more of these cases in yesterday, and I don't know if I mentioned that or not, but I did, and so those are. I've got another few of them around here. I don't know where they went to, but you know how parts disappear around here. I do have my tablet set up with the internet now, so it's working very well, and I even set my phone up so it would use the Wi-Fi. Oh, anyway, that is that. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful day, evening, whatever. And I do appreciate you watching. I always forget what I'm saying when I do this. And like I say, appreciate you guys watching. Thanks for watching all that stuff. And you guys have a great day. We will see ya.